Oh, and by the way, a tit.
That's a tit.
I hope you enjoy that tit.
Could be an elbow.
Because that's the only female frontal nudity we'll see. The only full frontal nudity in this game is male.
Female frontal nudity is passe, man. You gotta get a cock in there to be really edgy.
Well, yes.
Get some fucking trouser meat going.
This had a cock in games long before Grand Theft Auto The Lost and Damned did.
There was cocking?
Yes. It was a bit of news at the time. In one of the mission cutscenes, you see a man's cock.
I love people flipping out over seeing a dick. It just cracks me up.
This game earned its fair share of controversy. As I said, it was refused classification at the time.
Did it sell well? Did it make any money?
Well, I'm not sure if it sold well. It probably would have done if the controversy got out a bit. But
I gotta play the penis game. Penis!
It didn't review terribly well.
Yeah, I can see why.
It gets even worse towards the end.
Well, I mean,
they really start rushing things after a while.
Shooting the security guard, whilst I appreciate its logical brevity,
it's not much of a challenge, is it, gameplay-wise?
And the thing is, I would have stumbled upon that dick first, because the first thing I think is, I'm going to shoot the cunt. And then 9 times out of 10 the game says, you can't do that, because you're not just a fucking murderer.
Now going back to our apartment to work on our murderer scrapbook, check the news.
Yeah, the usual.
Gotta have the clippings. Even in the electronic age, we must have the equivalent of a clipping in our evil murder room.
What else are you supposed to, stick to the wall with your paper mache made from tears?
I was watching The Silence of the Lambs the other day, and I was thinking to myself, he'd probably have gotten an easier ride if he hadn't lived in such an obvious murderer house.
Yeah, but they all do. I mean, it was like Red Dragon.
This was something Adam and Joe's radio show used to refer to as the Nutty Room. I've lived in houses with rooms like that where there's nothing else. There's no other use for this room but clippings. Or like dressmaking mannequins with knives sticking in the head.
Yeah. Dressmaking mannequins with faces made from cutout gloss magazine eyes.
Look, we're on TV again.
Fuck yeah, I'm famous now. Yeah, take that, everyone who ever said I wouldn't amount to anything, mum.
And there must have been cameras everywhere because they know exactly how you did it from the beginning to the end.
How will we ever track him? I know. We'll track his money card and his internet connection. I can see him through a webcam. He's looking at it now.
There's a very weird little mention in that thing that you were observed apparently disappearing. And so the police are apparently speculating whether you used a teleportation device, but then at the very next point of the sentence, they then say that there's no such thing as a teleportation device.
That's fucking brilliant.
In the future.
He may have teleported away.
Like a police detective
Channel 6 News would like to add that teleporters don't exist.
It's like the police detective saying, well, we believe he made his getaway on a unicorn. And of course, this will mean us having to accept that unicorns exist.
I'm going to my police manticore, and I shan't be back until I bring this criminal to justice.
And then the policeman sitting next to that policeman at the press conference says, Sergeant, would you please shut up with the bloody unicorn theories?
Sergeant Cyclops.
And he's dragged out going, they exist! Why won't anyone believe me?
I've seen them.
I was one in a previous life. They were my other kin persona.
Oh, other kin. I love those. They're so much fun.
I love how there's a subset of other kin called otaku kin that the other kin are kind of embarrassed about.
I love crazy that makes other crazy seem more sane.
Because the other
always
kin,
my favorite.
The other kin are people who believe they were dragons or cyclopses in a previous existence in some fantasy universe where such things existed. But otaku kin are people who believe they were anime characters in a previous existence on the basis that all possibilities and all universes exist.
That is the most depressing thing I have heard all day.
Oh look, a security computer. How did we get past the security in our previous instances, Gabe?
Do you shoot it?
Yes, we're gonna shoot it, and that will work. As you can see...
Okay, getting past a handprint in this game, shoot it. Getting past a handprint beneath a steel sky, 20 minutes of intricate and interesting puzzle solving. That's how you do it, motherfuckers.
Oh, I was thinking of doing Beneath a Steel Sky, actually.
That's a great game.
As you can see, after a certain point in this game, they kind of lose interest in filling the rooms with stuff like they did in the really early rooms.
They lost interest in everything.
Yeah, there's just a blank blue room.
Yeah. They didn't even bother having a security guy you could kill. And why is it destroying the security thing would open the door? That's a pretty glaring fucking error.
Now here we go. Here's where the Ryan is just insane theory takes a bit of a hit, because he's going to use a magic crystal that allows him to deflect exploding bullets. Explain that one, Cully. We're even going to look at the explosion and go, ooh. He's getting better at killing, I've got to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's... Killing an unarmed security guard, that's, that's low-rent stuff. Catching bullets or reversing plasma beams back at people with a magic crystal, that's pretty high-level, murder right there.
In this case, the food killer's going to drop a burger because, corporations...
Because he made hamburger out of them.
Corporations and everything.
Yeah, take that, McMurder.
Interestingly, after you axe the security guard earlier on, if you try to use the body, it will say you can't bring yourself to remove the axe. But in this case, presumably Ryan's getting used to it. So if you try to take the gun from the arm, he says you tried, but the arm is clinging to it too tightly. Now, here's a bit of a text dump. So this is where we establish that the 7 evil people who are working to undermine the Dreamweb, they all know of each other and they're all conspiring with each other.
See, that's kind of
not clear at all what they're trying to do. Something to do with transcending physical form and taking some kind of influence over the subconscious minds of all humanity.
I'd like to transcend physical form, but then I won't have a penis to be touched anymore.
In some way they will profit. So
transcend physical form. I won't need money or food or any material desires. I'm doing it for the money. Genius.
Now, this will name drop all our remaining targets. Father O'Rourke, you'll want to remember, because it mentions that he's reaching a transition stage. He's the one who's closest to the transition stage.
I'd like to write a short story like that now, where an evil villain is aiming at, achieving transcendence, and you got to stop him, and then you fail stopping him, and he achieves transcendence, and then immediately realizes that his evil plan is kind of pointless and meaningless, and then just drifts off to be a transcended intelligence.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wait, all this material desire was wrong and just silly. I see that now.
They kind of did something like that in Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis at the very end.
I can't remember the details of the ending of that game. Every time I think about Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, I feel stupid and cry.
Well, never mind.
It was a hard game, man.
So the end of that document said something about I'll see you all again when we join together as one in the Dreamweb.
That sounds exactly like an invitation to a gay sex party I got once.
Well, maybe that implies...
Right down to the word Dreamweb.
That implies what kind of being they intend to create, some kind of godlike being. Oh no, Sartain's trying to escape.
This bizarre, ouroboros penis swallowing its own nuts.
in this weird shuttle-like thing. So let's shoot it.
Oh, come on.
With our gun. Volatile fuel they have in the future. That's it. That's literally it. That is the killing of Sartain.
You didn't even see him.
You see what I mean about kind of losing interest after a while? Kind of phoning it in.
Yeah, they're completing this game out of naught but spite.
And back to the rigmarole. You have to go through this routine every single time. And it is always fascinating. Oh, look.
I'm fucking riveted.
Blue blobby things, yay.
What do you want now, you magic throat polyps?
So this is where we established that the four aren't fully... They aren't all fully in on the plan or something. So there's one...
Sartain was actually going to rebel and fix everything. You blew him up, you inconsiderate cunt.
Apparently one of them is apparently been targeted by the others because she's a liability or something. So the plan is to maybe... befriend her?
Wow, the woman's the weak link and possible love interest. Way to fucking right.
Well, yes. But, the other woman, as they just mentioned, you kill just as hardcore as you kill all the men. Ryan's an equal opportunities serial murderer.
Well, it's okay to kill women just so long as you don't scream "fuck you, bitch" while you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you're murdering women, but there's no call for that kind of language.
No.
We can still do this in a civilized way.
Yeah, it's not about gender. It's about me being told by fantasy dream polyps to murder you. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it's just...
nothing
You can
personal.
you can see the bind I'm in.
Yes, nothing personal at all. It's just those fantasy dream polyps, they get narky.
Yeah, they just talk and talk and talk, and sometimes they don't shut up at all, and I cry.
And this time we've woken up in a dingy car park somewhere.
What is that thing?
Fortunately...
There's a car and, look, a hole.
That's a pillar, 'cause we're looking top down.
Ah, right. I thought someone had just done a really awesome job of parking their hole.
And luckily, this random car park we've woken up in has a puzzle important item that we're going to steal, apparently from the front of the truck that it was in.
I'd like to leave just things laying around the city now with a little label attached that says "Do not touch puzzle item."
You know, that reminds me of an idea I had that you could probably create like an iPhone game that like. Trying to know how to
Speak, Yahtzee, speak. You can do it.
Just trying to explain this. Like, it has you go to various points in a given city.
Using the GPS or some shit.
Yeah, and then it, like, calls you, and it says, take a picture of this building, and then it overlays, like, a sniper onto the building, and you've got to solve, like, a spy mystery. And you can have a different one for each city of the world.
Hole.
Oh, by the way, we're too late. Chapel's been blown up.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's what this is.
Yeah, the person we were supposed to meet because the other conspirators are working against her, she's already been blown up.
I get the feeling this was a longer game before they stopped giving a shit.
I dropped some toast because I figure I
Where
might as well
are
take
they
the credit
even,
for this
isn't it?
one, because this is kind of my fault.
It's yours in spirit.
So while we're here, we might as well take a walk around and talk to a policeman. Hi, policeman, I exactly match the description of someone who's been murdering
I don't suppose you saw the really handsome, important, and famous killer around here, did you?
I've heard he's so great.
Yeah, I heard he's really famous and everyone wants to be like him and be his friend. Would you want to be my friend?
My name's Ryan, by the way.
I'm Ryan. Are you my friend now? We're friends.
Would you like my cash card?
You want to come to my birthday?
Would you like to check my account details?
I know. Hey, look at this gun that's been recently fired.
Yeah, it's great, right? Want to compare guns?
I can shoot it really straight now and everything.
Is yours as great as mine?
I got this guy in the eye.
Yeah, well, 5 guys. Tonight alone.
Yeah. Look at my muscles. I can swing an axe.
I was really disappointed that you couldn't shoot this stupid twat in the back of the head.
Fucking astonished you can't.
You know, I wonder if you can try to shoot that soldier in front of these Channel 6 studios. I forgot to try that.
Damn, now we'll never know.
That
Probably just gun you down or something.
Oh, probably. Since you have to reach into your coat for your gun.
You'd like to think the person with the gun already out would be able to beat you to the drop.
I don't know whether you noticed, but when we first got the gun from Silverman, and the first time we died, we picked up the gun, put it in our coat, and then we reached into our coat to pull the gun and shoot him with it. So we're on the beach because we're on our way to Underwood's beach house.
I didn't even notice that thing you just picked up, like a railing or something.
Yeah, we need it. That's important.
Again, like I can understand a game that has bullshit items when they're the only items you can touch, but when... I mean, how do you know this is like... If I was playing this game and I saw a railing, I'd go, that's a useless fucking item. Why would I need a goddamn railing? What am I going to do, repair a guy's fucking veranda?
You need it to lever something.
Fair enough.
So here's the security system for Underwood's house. I don't know whether you noticed, but pretty much every single kill we've done at this point is get past security system, then murder.
Yeah. And it's been a lax security... I mean, you know...
Yeah.
One old guy is not a security system.
By the way, the document we found said that this security system is impenetrable. I want you to remember that.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's a fucking turret, but there's this electrical box right here outside of the reach of the security system.
That's...
This is what the railing was for. We're going to leave it open. Now,
again, like, I'd never think, hey, I can open that with a fucking bit of railing.
What item we acquired early in the game do you think we're going to use now? Carefully.
Fucking apple.
Electronics. A massive wires. What do we do with electronics?
The spanner or something. Throw a spanner in the works.
No, we pour water on it.
Okay, wait. That junction box is at the seaside, and it's thwarted by water, and not even salt water. Like, salt water's worse. Fucking
that was
hell.
a spectacular meltdown, I must say. no one's ever, apparently, unlike the Channel 6 studios, they've never heard of a fuse around here.
Is this like a future where people have been getting progressively stupider, and it's literally just that easy? It's just like, oh.
Like the idiocracy thing.
Yeah. No.
Wouldn't put it past them, because, well, we're murdering random people because of a dream. Who are we to judge?
I suppose, yeah. Shouldn't be so harsh.
Now, I mentioned that all the killings are kind of getting rushed towards the end, and here's a very fine symptom of that. Blowing up that security system pretty much already killed the target. We really are the fucking Mr. Bean of serial killers at this point. We have accidentally...
I would love to get Rowan Atkinson and do a short film of Mr. Bean as a murderer, and, like, not change his personality, actions, or mannerisms in one way, shape, or form, because I find the idea of him just, like, walking toward you with that face horrifying. Like, just, you know, him putting, like, a straight razor to your throat and whispering Bean in your ear and then slowly cutting you. It's just...
Hold the phone. She's still alive.
Yeah, top halves tend to live an awful long time after you rip the bottom off or explode it with purple or whatever the fuck just happened.
She doesn't actually die if you leave her.
Yeah, she gets better.
Yeah, she's holding on pretty well.
It's the future. You just, you know, that shit grows back after a while. It just takes time.
So you can't officially add this one to your scorecard until you actually put a bullet in the back of her head.
You can't, like, just stab her to death with a butter knife.
Nope, because she's put up with that much punishment so far, but knife would probably just be like a massage or acupuncture.
I mean, that's mostly splattered.
Yeah, there's not a lot of her left. Then let's see them report on that in the news.
Shit got fucked up.
Shit got pretty fucked up.
Please describe the situation as, fuck, look. Smithers, there's a fucking bit of brain over here.
Another investigator described the process as fucking retarded. This guy didn't even...
Wait, he shorted out the turret with water? It's near the fucking seaside.
This is the stupidest situation on every possible angle. The person doing the killing was stupid. The person who set up the security system was stupid.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
So, 2 targets left. The priest, who I remind you is the nearest to transition.
I'm presuming the priest is at least some kind of boss fight, or, you know, as boss fighty as...
Oh, you will see. And the other one remaining is Beckett, who was... Not Bucket, sorry. Beckett, who was...
My name's Bucket. Mother didn't like me very much.
He was mentioned in the document as a Dr. Beckett, but apparently at this point he's an evil psychopath Beckett. And he's not even like an evil scientist. When we find him, he's just a dude.
He was a dermatologist. He was an evil dermatologist.
He had a PhD in classic literature.
He'd knock people out and rub them in bacon and butter until they got really bad skin.
As I mentioned, yeah, there is only one specific door you can open for each specific kill, which gets kind of annoying early on.
Click. Nope. Click. Nope.
Couldn't you just tell me, Keeper? No! We're standing around over here.
I know.
Being all mystical and weird.
I have to stand here in my robes. Dreamweb.
Ooh.
What is the key, anyway?
It's just a key.
Oh.
Just a magic thing that makes things...
What is this
collapse.
happening? Like, I'm not sure.
I don't know. We've put the
I've
power...
watched this like 4 times now, and each time it's really just occurred to me, like, what is this that's actually occurring?
I don't care how many times you watch this plot never makes sense. So here's some interesting supporting evidence for the Ryan is a nutjob theory. If you examine... We've only just got here, but if you examine this imprint, it says he appears to have been lying for some time.
Well, I mean, it shows you appearing, but any amount of time could have passed between.
Well, quite. And you're still on the beach, so presumably you just stumbled along the coast for a while.
Beach.
And then
Pelicans taking my brain.
Then fell flat on your face.
A pelican tried to eat my brother's head once. That was pretty funny.
That must be an interesting story. Perhaps you could tell it on some relevant date.
I was talking about pelicans trying to eat my brain, and one of them legitimately tried to swallow my brother's head when he was like 18 months old. And then Mum like threw a book at it. It was a fun day. I
was dropped on my head when I was 18 months old. Well, I fell on my head from a climbing frame. Apparently I still have a scar if I shave my head.
Anything like that I managed to... The way Mum described it was, you know, once I got to moving stage, I was out to kill myself in any way, shape, but like if there was an open window, I'd just start going toward it.
But getting back to the game...
Network screen.
We're now going to look at the contents of that blue cartridge we found at Chapel's house.
It is, unfortunately, Superman 64.
They do look like N64 cartridges, don't they?
Except they got the prongs, like, just out where anything can touch them, which
Actually,
is just
they
silly.
look like action replay cartridges. That was the thing I used to have on my Commodore 64.
There was an action replay for the Commodore 64?
Yes, indeed.
Huh.
It was red.
See, I had it for the SNES because I had a bunch of imported fighting games that you had to jigger to get to play.
Now I have to log on as Beckett to access this cartridge. I'm not sure where you find the password for Beckett. Again, this is the cracked version. It's
Tattooed on your wang somehow.
possible it's in the
Saint Septimus, a church you can trust to not be full of fucking Satan worshippers and lunatics.
Yes, that's the location we needed for the priest.
I can't remember. Is Septimus an actual thing, or did they just make that up for the game?
I don't know. It's a Roman name.
Septimus.
Perhaps worth looking into later.
I might Google that because now I'm curious.
Let's just check on the news.
I wonder what the weather's like.
See if they're talking about our killings.
Blatantly.
No, I think that's the best word for it, yes.
Yeah.
I think you'll see
Socialite.
we're being blamed for that bomb that the conspirators placed. Oh no! And I'd be more outraged if we weren't actually responsible for most of the killings.
How dare you pin this one murder on me? I mean, granted, the other 3 were me, but doesn't mean this one, the other 5 were me.
Actually, how many people have we killed at this point?
2 security guards.
2 security guards.
Crane.
Not a prostitute. Most emphatically not a prostitute.
Yeah. A groupie.
Security guard. Sterling, that one security guard at Sartain Industries, Sartain plus whoever else was on that little plane with him.
I go at least another pilot, so it's 8 so far.
Well, all the greats pad their stats. Shall we call it an even 10?
Even 10, yeah, even 10. A dick. It just cracks me up.
This game earned its fair share of controversy. As I said, it was refused classification at the time.
Did it sell well? Did it make any money?
Well, I'm not sure if it sold well. It probably would have done if the controversy got out a bit. But
I gotta play the penis game. Penis!
It didn't review terribly well.
Yeah, I can see why.
It gets even worse towards the end.
Well, I mean,
They really start rushing things after a while.
Shooting the security guard, whilst I appreciate its logical brevity,
it's not much of a challenge, is it, gameplay-wise?
And the thing is, I would have stumbled upon that
from the beginning to the end.
How will we ever track him? I know. We'll track his money card and his internet connection. I can see him through a webcam. He's looking at it now.
There's a very weird little mention in that thing that you were observed apparently disappearing. And so the police are apparently speculating whether you used a teleportation device, but then at the very next point of the sentence, they then say that there's no such thing as a teleportation device.
That's fucking brilliant.
In the future.
He may have teleported away.
Like a police detective
Channel
saying,
6 News would like to add that teleporters don't exist.
Oh, and by the way, a tit.
That's a tit.
I hope you enjoy that tit.
Could be an elbow.
Because that's the only female frontal nudity we'll see. The only full frontal nudity in this game is male.
Female frontal nudity is passe, man. You gotta get a cock in there to be really edgy.
Well, yes.
Get some fucking trouser meat going.
This had a cock in games long before Grand Theft Auto The Lost and Damned did.
There was cocking?
Yes. It was a bit of news at the time. In one of the mission cutscenes, you see a man's cock.
I love people flipping out over seeing. I mean, it was like Red Dragon.
This was something Adam and Joe's radio show used to refer to as the nutty room.
Yeah, well, I've lived in houses with rooms like that where there's nothing else. There's no other use for this room but clippings
or
and
like dressmaking mannequins with knives sticking in the head.
Yeah. Dressmaking mannequins with faces made from cutout like Gloss magazine eyes.
Look, we're on TV again.
Fuck yeah, I'm famous now. Yeah, take that, everyone who ever said I wouldn't amount to anything, mum.
And there must have been cameras everywhere because they know exactly how you did it.
Dick first, because the first thing I think is I'm going to shoot the cunt, and then 9 times out of 10 the game says you can't do that because you're not just a fucking murderer.
Now going back to our apartment to work on our murderer scrapbook, check the news.
Yeah, the usual.
Gotta have the clippings. Even in the electronic age, we must have the equivalent of a clipping in our evil murder room.
What else are you supposed to, stick to the wall with your paper mache made from tears?
I was watching The Silence of the Lambs the other day, and I was thinking to myself, he'd probably have gotten an easier ride if he hadn't lived in such an obvious murderer house.
Yeah, but they all do.